Hey guys, this is actually a completely impromptu video. I got the idea to do it when I was in the shower washing my crotch, so take what you will from that. But I decided I would do a video of my top 10 favorite RPGs currently. I say currently because this list is constantly changing. In fact, it just literally changed because I just played a whole slew of games, and one of them is now in the top 10 list. So let's start from 10. I couldn't find my copy. I think I might have lent it to a friend. But Suikoden 2 for the PlayStation. This was an excellent game. Excellent game. And I played it a whole bunch of times. That's the only reason why I don't have a review of it on my page, because I played it so many times, I pretty much know everything by heart in it. The sequels are good. The first one, I would say, is probably the second best in the series, followed by Suikoden, or Suikoden 2 is the best, and then probably 1, and then I kind of liked, a lot of people diss it, but I liked 4 a lot. I liked the storyline of 4. It had a lot of problems in terms of its gameplay, but the story was great. Um, the 9 spot would go to Vagrant Story, also for the PlayStation. Most of these games are going to be for the PlayStation. It's just the nature of the beast. That was my dog shaking. This is a Square Enix game, made by the same people who made Final Fantasy Tactics. It has a very unique combat system where it's not turn-based, but it's not real-time either. Basically, you see the enemy in real time, like they're on the map, and you run up to them and you hit circle, and it brings up like a sphere. And now the sphere is like your radius of combat as far as you can hit. If anything's outside the sphere, you can't hit them. And there's like tons of weapons and an in-depth crafting system, but most of all, it has a really fucking excellent story. Very dark, very gothic, and the music is phenomenal music. So definitely recommend you pick up this game if you haven't. I'm not sure if it's available on the PlayStation Network because I don't have a PS3. Moving on. Number 8, Final Fantasy VI. This is actually the anthology collection. The original version is on the Super NES. And there's also a retranslated version on the Game Boy Advance. I suggest you play the Game Boy Advance version. I played the PlayStation version, obviously, because to be completely honest, I played the PlayStation version when it came out, but I didn't finish it. I got sidetracked by something else, I don't remember what. And then, I think it was like a year or so ago, I played through on an emulator, and I have a full review of it on my page. So go look at that if you want more information on that game. Next up, Final Fantasy IX. Again, I have a full review of this, so I'm not going to really say anything about it, because I have a review, you can look at that. Here's a game that may surprise some people that it's on my list. Breath of Fire 4, also for the PlayStation. The Breath of Fire, I think there's like 5, maybe 6 games. This is really the only one worth your time. Well, actually, no, that's not entirely true. Breath of Fire 3, 1, 2, and 3, well, 1's kind of boring. 2 and 3 are pretty good, 3 being the second best in the series. 5 is complete garbage. I hated 5. It was horrible. My best friend really liked it, but I couldn't stand it. So yeah, fuck that. Anyways, this game is excellent. It's got really awesome artistic style. It's kind of like... it's like playing a anime, basically. It looks like an anime. I don't know if you can tell from the back. Light's kind of weird. You can see some of the artwork. The cover, though, has the best artwork. It's fucking... This guy here with the blue hair. That's your main character. The guy with the white hair, I'm not going to go into him because he's really cool. And you actually play as both of them back and forth. But mainly you play as the blue-haired hero, Ryu, or you can name him whatever you want. I always name him Ryu. Moving on. Bud Light Lime does not make the list. It's not an RPG. Dragon Quest IX. I am currently playing this. I'm right at the very end. I just am actually purposely holding off on beating the final boss, but I'm totally intending to play it beyond that because there's just so much content. You would never believe that a DS game could be this large. To give you an idea, I like this game so much that I played it for about 40 hours and realized my skill point allocation sucked for moving on, so I completely restarted, and obviously I'm past where I was, but I love this fucking game. This is an excellent game. Now, this only just made the list, not because it's new, which it is. It's pretty new. I mean, it's been out for like a year and a half, I think, or no, longer than that. It came out in 2009, I think. I don't fucking know. But because I had actually never played any Dragon Quest games. Can you believe that shit? Never. Just until a few months ago. I picked up Dragon Quest IV and played it, and I loved it. So then I picked up 5, 6, 8. I have 7. I actually do have 7. I haven't played it yet. I do have 7, and I've had it for years, and I never actually played it. I don't know why. I think it was because the graphics and the menu system threw me off, because even when the game came out, it was behind everything else on the PlayStation, and I was young, so I thought, fuck this game, I'm not going to actually play it. But I guess I have more of a refined taste, and that kind of stuff doesn't bother me anymore. So I'm planning on playing every single Dragon Quest game in the main series. I've completed 4, 5, 6, 8, and I'm almost done with 9. And I have a fan-translated English version of the Super NES Dragon Quest III, but I'm still looking for Dragon Quest 1 and 2, which was released on the Super NES, but never in America. So if anybody watching this video knows where I can find a translated copy of the ROM so I can play it in an emulator, please put a link in the comments below. That would help me out a lot. The next on the list is, I couldn't find my box copies because now I just use the digital. Actually, wait, maybe they're in here. Hold on. I might have them in this fucking thing. Just a quick gander. No, I don't know where I put them. They're in storage somewhere. But Diablo 2. I have put so many hours into Diablo 2, it's ridiculous. It's just an excellent game. So fun. So fun. I can't wait for Diablo 3 to come out. If you've never played Diablo 2, you've been living under a rock. Next on the list, Oblivion. I actually originally played it on the Xbox, and I loved it, and then I got the PC version for all the mods. It's pretty much what I always do with the Elder Scrolls games. It's a first-person. It's a first-person RPG. Not at all in turn-based or anything like that. It's real-time. It's just an excellent game. All right, now we get to the nitty-gritty. The number 2 spot. This is a game I've played extensively. I've even played a modified version of it that makes it more difficult. Final Fantasy Tactics for the PlayStation. The sequels to this game suck ass, unfortunately, but this one is really good. This, by the way, is not actually the real cover. This is sort of my cheat sheet that I made up for it. It shows like how to unlock all the jobs and stuff, and it's right on the cover. There's the back. This is actually made by the same person who made same team that made Vagrant Story, so it's got a gothic undertone, but it's a little bit more upbeat since it's Final Fantasy. Still, some of the best 2D sprite animations I've ever seen, and nice and violent too. There's some nice death scenes in this game, which are pretty cool. This was the first game, I believe this was the first game that I played where I really enjoyed the job system, which is common in RPGs. But this was the first one that I got a lot of fun out of. I couldn't even estimate how many hours I played this game for. It's just ridiculous. And the number 1 spot is, of course, and there's a review of it so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but Xenogears. The reason why this is number 1, even though I've only played through it completely twice, which isn't that many times compared to how many times I played Final Fantasy Tactics or even played Oblivion for that matter, or Diablo. I put this in the number one spot because it is one of the best stories in any form of media that I've ever absorbed. And it's got the combination of having excellent gameplay, excellent music. It's just a win-win. And this is on the PlayStation Network, so enjoy that. Now I have a couple of honorable mentions. These are games that were on the list that got bumped for various reasons. First up, I'll say Chrono Trigger. This is the PlayStation version. It was originally on the Super NES. It's also on the Nintendo DS. That's the latest version. I'm not sure if the DS version has anime cutscenes, but the PlayStation version does. So if the DS version does not have cutscenes, then go with the PlayStation. I also have the full review of this. Final Fantasy VII. This is important because, one, it is a great game. Hey, you gotta give it, it's a great game. But it's not the best in the series, in my opinion. Some people might think that's blasphemy because there's a lot of Final Fantasy VII fanboys out there. I do love this game, so don't get my ass. But the thing about this game is, I don't know, this is kind of the game that got me into RPGs. So there's a lot of nostalgia tied to it. But the mature side of me looks at it, and it does have a lot of flaws. It really does. The graphics are horrible. I mean, it was made in that time where they were just transitioning over from 2D to 3D, so the 3D graphics suck. At the time they were great, but they suck. And it's not 2D, so the 2D graphics that had been made just before this game were really good. They were starting to peak, you know? And, yeah. But it's got a good storyline. The main character's kind of an emo bitch, but that's kind of common. And last but not least, I had to mention an MMO, because MMOs are huge these days. So of all the MMOs I played, which is a lot, I'm going to have to go with Final Fantasy XI as being my favorite. Mainly because this one was the only MMO that I really played with friends that I actually knew and hung out with in real life. So it'd be like, you know, we'd be hanging out, we'd be working at some place together or whatever, and then we'd go home and we'd enjoy, you know, we'd go to our respective homes and we'd enjoy Final Fantasy XI online. And I played this for a few years. You know, I did the whole thing where you quit and you come back when expansions come out and stuff. But this isn't actually on my top 10 list. I just thought it'd be an honorable mention. So there you have it, my top 10 favorite games of all time so far. Who knows what'll change on the list? Pretty much changes every year. Alrighty.